What if every choice you didn't make, every path you didn't take, every version of you that could exist was real? And what if, starting right now, you could see them? What if alternate realities weren't just theory, but windows waiting to be opened? Scientists call it the many worlds interpretation, the idea that every decision, every possibility, branches the universe into infinite copies. A universe where you're richer, a universe where you never met that person, a universe where you never survived. Most people hear this and shrug it off. But what if this wasn't just science fiction? What if the mind, your mind, could tune into these worlds the same way a radio tunes into frequencies? And what if seeing them changes you forever? Imagine you blink, and suddenly, you see your room, but slightly different. Your furniture is rearranged. Your calendar has different plans. You look in the mirror, and the you staring back has a scar you've never had. And in that split second, you realize this is not your world. This is a version where one small decision changed everything. That's how seeing alternate realities begins. Not with a portal, not with technology, but with awareness. Quantum physics suggests particles exist in multiple states at once. Only when observed do they choose a position. So what if reality works the same way? What if consciousness is the observer that selects which version of reality you land in? Some scientists believe the brain processes quantum information, meaning your thoughts could, theoretically, cross streams between universes. What would that look like? Visions that feel like memories but aren't from here? Or something even more intense, like seeing a version of yourself making a choice you haven't made? Yet, what if you could see a version of yourself living your dream life? A version that didn't give up, that made the brave choice instead of the safe one. But what if you also saw the darker versions, the you who made one mistake, one wrong turn, one catastrophic decision? How would that change you? Would it inspire you or break you? Now think about this. If you can see alternate realities, could you also choose one? Could you consciously shift into a better world? Some philosophers believe we already do, that every time you visualize your future, every time you imagine a possibility, your mind brushes against another universe, a world where your future already exists, waiting for you to step into it. If everyone could see alternate realities, the world would change instantly. 1. Relationships would transform. You'd see versions of your relationships that worked and versions that ended in disaster. Would you try harder or walk away sooner? 2. Career and life choices would shift. Why guess when you can see what would happen if you chose differently? Society would become hyper-optimized. No more risk, just previews of every outcome. 3. Governments and science would go insane. Imagine world leaders seeing alternate realities where their choices caused war or peace. Imagine scientists studying universes where diseases never existed or where humanity evolved differently. But what happens when people see a reality better than the one they live in now? If you could see alternate realities, would you still appreciate the life you have? Or would your world suddenly feel incomplete? Here's the truth. The existence of better versions of you also means the existence of worse ones. Maybe the lesson isn't to chase alternate worlds, but to understand that your choices now create the reality you experience next. Maybe every alternate you reflects something inside you, your fears, your desires, your regrets, your potential. What if seeing other versions of you forces you to finally know yourself? So what if you could see alternate realities? You'd see your unrealized dreams, your forgotten fears, your hidden potential. But you'd also see the consequences of every decision, the weight of every path. And maybe, just maybe, you'd realize something profound. You're already standing at the center of infinite possible futures. Every thought is a doorway. Every choice is a portal. Every moment is a branching timeline. But what if instead, you didn't just see alternate realities, but could travel into them? See you next time. Alternate realities aren't just worlds out there. They're reflections of what you could become. The brave you, the broken you, the brilliant you, the version that succeeded, and the one that didn't survive. So ask yourself, which version of you are you becoming? Because the future isn't written. It's branching, shifting, waiting. What if one day you open your eyes and you're not in the reality you remember? Now imagine if that happened tomorrow, would you survive? If you could see one alternate version of yourself, which would it be? If this episode opened your mind, hit like, subscribe, and tell us in the comments. Thank you for watching.